Hey, what's up guys? It's Robert from Untapped Details, and in today's video, we're going to go over how I clean wheels and tires. Alright, so on my table I have laid out some chemicals and some tools that I like to use when I'm cleaning wheels and tires to help make the job a little bit easier. So over here I have a wheel cleaner, the Rapid Decon wheel cleaner and iron remover from Turtle Wax. And then over here I have a couple different wheel and tire cleaners. These are both all-in-ones, and they're good for using on your wheels and your tires alone, but they might not have as much power to clean specifically wheels and all that stubborn brake dust that gets caked on the inner barrels of the rims or on the face of the wheel that a dedicated wheel cleaner could use. And then I always like to have a shampoo that I can put into my wheel bucket that all of my different tools can sit in. It helps add lubrication while I'm cleaning the wheels, and it also helps give a little bit more cleaning power to whatever products I'm using at the time. So starting over here on the left, these are a couple options for brushes that you can use to actually clean the face or the wall of your actual tires yourself, so the actual rubber parts. Right here, this is kind of a shorter bristle brush, but it's a heavier bristle. So this is kind of my go-to. Works great on all tires. You can use it on your kind of skinnier, low-profile tires. And then on this one, it's still a stiff bristle brush. It's not as aggressive as the other one, but it has kind of these longer fibers, so it makes it a lot easier when I'm cleaning anything that has big treads or maybe kind of like some off-road style truck tires. And then over here, there's a couple options for cleaning the wheel faces themselves and getting into the actual barrel of the wheels. So you have these cone brushes that you can use to get in between the spokes, get the inside of the barrel to scrub that kind of stuff off. And then for maybe some more delicate surfaces or delicate wheels, something that might show scratches a little bit easier, like a black wheel or a darker color wheel or something like that, we have these kind of microfiber scrubs. So these can also go, they're good for getting behind the spokes to get the back side of your spokes, and also the areas where the spoke meets the barrel of the wheel itself. And then over here I have just a kind of your standard boar's hair style detailing brush, great for getting the face of the wheel and getting into kind of the lugs and all of the intricate designs on some of these more modern style wheels. This is a flag tip brush, so not, if you kind of compare it to this one, you see these bristles are a little more aggressive and they're kind of more dense. These are softer and they kind of split the fibers at the end, so it's more of a kind of better and softer for delicate surfaces. So you can use these to clean the face of your wheel. Some people don't like to. Kind of use your discretion on that one. And then over here is a great wheel well brush. So you can use this to get on the inside of where your wheels are, get all those plastics that get caked up with all the dirt and everything. Kind of help you reach in there and scrub all that. All right, something else that I like to use a lot is this IK Foam Pro 2 pump sprayer. So what I'll do is I'll fill this with kind of a more diluted version of one of my wheel and tire cleaners. I'll use this for my maintenance washes or for wheels that aren't as dirty. Something that maybe usually like my own vehicle when I know I'm going to be washing it every other week, or somebody else that takes care of the vehicle on a routinely basis. Something like this is perfect for that. Obviously, you need a bucket so I can put all of my brushes in with my soapy water. And then once you get done cleaning the wheels, obviously, like everything else, you're going to want to protect it. So that way it's easier to clean in the future and helps do things like reduce your UV exposure to the rubber and also to the painted surfaces itself. Something that I like to use is the Griot's ceramic 3-in-1 wax. You can kind of use this as a spray on, rinse off, but you can also use it just to spray on the face of the wheel, and then use something like these microfibers to apply it and wipe it away. Kind of a tip with the microfibers, make sure that whatever towels you use on your wheels are not the same ones that you use on your paint. Obviously, your wheels are very dirty, and some of that, like kind of like the ferrous metals and all the other kind of things that get on your tires that you're going to be wiping away with this potentially is not something you want to come in contact with your paint. And then obviously the very end, you need some kind of tire dressing. And one of my favorites right now is this Jay Leno's Garage tire trim and care. So I use this on the tires, and you can also, like I said, use it on your trim. You can put it on the inside of your wheel wells if you have like the plastic style wheel wells, and this will just help keep your tires from fading, and it also makes them easier to clean in the future. When I'm applying these, I like to use one of these Hex Grip kind of sponge applicators. Makes it a lot easier to apply the product evenly, and also get into some of those grooves and the kind of the edges and the lips that you have on the actual rubber face itself. All right, so back out here at the Wife's Explorer. I know from over here it doesn't look too dirty, but if we get up close, you can see where there's definitely some dirt on the rims. You see a little bit in the barrels, some on the tire as well, and then inside these wheel wells, there's some dirt. I've got my bucket and everything out here. So I like to hang the bottles off the bucket so the way they're easy to get. Just throw all of my brushes and everything inside of the bucket. Take my soap. Just put a little bit in there. Mix it up with a hose. All right, first thing I'm doing is I'm rinsing everything off. Just using the garden hose today. Didn't really feel the need to bust out the pressure washer for this. Good pre-rinse, especially if you've been driving the vehicle. You don't want to clean the wheels when they're still hot. It's not good for the products. They can bake onto it and they'll dry really fast and they can cause some damage. So I got that on. First thing I'm gonna do, I got my wheel cleaner iron remover. So I want to make sure you get this back on the barrels, especially. Kind of spray it on there. Let it start working. And then I'll get my wheel and tire cleaner out. Start spraying it on the tire face itself. So especially my first pass, I'm not too worried about spraying the wheel and tire cleaner on the wheel itself since it's already got some wheel cleaner on it. Now, I like to get in these barrels and get the wheel done while the tire cleaner is kind of working. You can see it already starting to pull some of that dirt off. I'll just work from top to bottom. Getting that brush in there, getting the barrels. Remember, you don't want to let any of these products dry. So especially if you're in direct sunlight or it's hot, or if you work outside like I do pretty much exclusively, you got to go a little bit fast and just make sure everything kind of stays wet. So run through with that. Make sure you always spray your brushes off before you put them back in your bucket. And at this point, I'll get my tire brush. Rinse my brush off, throw back my bucket. Now I don't always get the face of the wheels every time on my first pass, but look, you can already see all of that metal and everything that the wheel cleaner's getting off. So it's definitely doing its job. So I'll rinse it off real quick, and then when that foam is still brown on the tires, you want to go back in and continue to clean it till it's white, or obviously there's still dirt on it, and when you go to apply your dressing later, you're just going to be putting your tire dressing over a bunch of dirt and debris. Now on the second pass, what I usually do is just go in with my wheel and tire cleaner and I'll get it over everything. So get it back on the tires, put it on the wheel itself, and then I'll spray some up in the wheel wells. And then while I let that work on the tires again for a minute, I'll get my brush and I'll just go around the inside of these arches. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do this on every vehicle. Like on a car, there's not going to be as much room in here. You can try to use smaller brushes and everything, but sometimes there's vehicles that have no gap here, and you're not going to really be able to do anything other than spray some water in. So I did that. Rinse my brush off. Back in the bucket. Now I'll get my smaller brushes to get the face of the wheel. So I'll go in with a little brush, get inside the lug nuts, and then I kind of like to try to start at the same place every time I clean a wheel. It helps me make sure I do it consistently, and I'm a lot less likely to miss a spot. So I just kind of go around, get all the spokes. And then if you do happen to miss a tiny bit when you're coming around with this, when you go to dry and wipe the tire off later and put your protectant on it, you'll get the last little bit. Also, if you want to, and what I'll do sometimes is go in with you can get a dedicated mitt or a microfiber towel to use to kind of wipe down the surface of the wheels as well. Come back in with my brush. Alright, that's pretty much the process. This will probably need one more pass on the tires, so I'll do that off camera so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me go around it again. Alright, I did my last pass. Tires are all cleaned up, wheels are good. Now it says a couple ways you can apply protection. You can either go in and spray it and wipe it in like you would normally, or since I already have a base layer of protection on these wheels, I'll simply just take my ceramic, get a couple sprays on it, and then just rinse it off. And you can see immediately how the water is just beading and starting to run off of the wheel surface. So you want to make sure you give it a good rinse. You don't want to leave anything on there. It can create high spots and it'll kind of dry and it can be noticeable. So make sure you want to rinse all the extra stuff off. Now when you're going in to dry the wheels, you have a couple options as well. If you have something like a forced air blower or compressed air, you can use that to blow everything off and dry it off, or you could do like I'm about to do right now and just go in and simply just wipe everything down. So I'll just go around, I'll wipe the rims down, make sure you're getting all that water off. Using one of the dedicated tire towels and wheel towels, like I was saying. You don't want to use one of your super nice towels because you're just going to get dirty. And then this is also the opportunity, like I said, to double check your work, make sure you didn't miss anything. If you did, it's a pretty easy, good time to wipe everything up right now. Do the same thing. Just take the rag, go around, and you can dry your tire off, because what you don't want to do is also, you don't want to try to put some tire dressing or tire shine onto a wet tire. It's not really going to dry properly. It'll sling, it'll be streaky, start to run. So go through, make sure it's nice and dry. If you have the time, I would just let it sit here and air dry for a few minutes too before you try to go in and apply that dressing. Alright, at this point I went around with a second towel, tried the tire off, got the wheel dry. As you can see, all that dirt and everything's gone. The wheels are looking nice and shiny. Tires are nice and dry, so let's get some of the some dressing on it. So with these hex applicators, instead of putting anything directly on the surface of the tire, the easiest way to do is just take your product, whether it's a spray or kind of a little gel paste like this, put it directly onto the applicator itself. And then what I like to do is just kind of spread it out, and then now you can kind of work in little kind of small circular motions, try to get it into all of these cracks. Usually on this first tire that you're starting to dress, it's gonna be kind of dry, so there's not gonna be a lot of product in it. So if you need to, you can go back, reload, and put some more of the shine on it where you're dressing. Make sure you get all the way up to the wheel. Make sure you're getting in the treads. Something for if you have kind of the big mud tires with like all the really thick treads and all like the thick lettering and everything, what you can do is put the dressing directly into a big brush. You can kind of brush it in like as if you're cleaning your tire. That helps as well. Oh, there's a squirrel. I don't know what it's doing. What? Oh my God. Well, all right. That is definitely the best part of the video, but yeah, look at it now. We're all done with the wheel and tire, got the dressing applied, wheels clean and protected. Only took a few minutes. Now I'll go around and do it to all 4 tires, and that process is done. If you have any questions, if you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and if there's anything else you want to see, just let me know. Thanks.